Welcome to AI Pulse, where we're breaking down the biggest moves in artificial intelligence. Today, March 10th, 2026. Wow, what a day. It feels like the entire industry just made massive, landscape-shifting moves all at once.
Seriously, it's like a frenzied gold rush out there. We're seeing these huge battles being fought on multiple fronts, all at the same time, and it's almost impossible to keep up. So, to make sense of it all, we're going to frame today's events as a series of interconnected wars. Because that's really what it feels like. We've got the battle for your desktop, the race to build an AI empire, a crisis of conscience, and a massive billion-dollar bet on the future. All right, let's dive right in.
So let's just set the stage here. What today's announcements really show is an industry where the biggest players are making absolutely massive bets to try and lock down their dominance for years to come.
Okay, the first front in this war, it's being fought for control of your work computer. Yep, we're talking about two of the world's biggest tech companies going head-to-head like never before. Google just made its biggest move yet, and it's a direct shot at Microsoft. They are embedding their Gemini AI deep, and I mean deep, into the Workspace suite. We're talking Docs, Sheets, Drive, the whole shebang.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, because this completely changes how you work. Instead of starting with a blank page, you just start with a conversation. You can tell Gemini to write a report, and it will actually scan your Gmail and your Drive for context, pull the right info, and just generate the whole document for you. Same for spreadsheets, it's wild. And that's the real endgame here. Both Google and Microsoft are betting the farm that AI assistance is going to be the single deciding factor for businesses when they choose their software. This isn't just about adding a cool feature anymore. It's about making AI the absolute core of how we get work done. But hang on, this fight over software, that's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. The ambition here goes so much deeper. We're now watching a full-blown war for the entire AI ecosystem, from the silicon chips that power it to the code, all the way to the colossal data centers that house it all.
So, you've got the chip giant, NVIDIA, and they're not just sticking to hardware anymore. They've just dropped a new open-source software platform called NemoClaw. And its whole purpose is to help companies build and deploy powerful AI agents.
Okay, but what exactly is an AI agent? We're not just talking about a chatbot here. This is an AI that can actually reason, plan, and carry out complex jobs for you all on its own. This is such a big deal that NVIDIA's own CEO called it their most important software release ever.
And to give you a sense of the sheer physical scale we're talking about, building these AI empires takes an insane amount of power. Take the planned Stargate AI data center. Its expansion was set to consume 2.0 gigawatts of electricity. That is enough to power roughly 1.5 million homes. Just staggering. And then, a huge twist. That massive deal between Oracle and OpenAI to expand the Stargate data center, it's off. After months of talks, the whole thing just fell apart, which just goes to show you how incredibly complex and, frankly, fragile these massive infrastructure projects can be. Now, believe it or not, the most dramatic battle of the day wasn't about products or data centers. No, it was about principles. And it sparked a legitimate crisis of conscience right inside one of the world's leading AI labs. And this story really centers on one person, Caitlin Kalinowski. She was OpenAI's head of robotics, and she just resigned in protest over a new deal with the Pentagon. Her words right there just lay out the massive ethical stakes we're talking about. And the public reaction? Wow, it was immediate, and you can actually see it in the numbers. The day that Pentagon deal was announced, uninstalls of the GPT app shot up by almost 300%. Meanwhile, its main rival, Claude, jumped to the top of the App Store. And this right here, this just lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got this fork in the road for the entire industry. OpenAI went ahead with the deal that its main competitor, Anthropic, had already turned down because they were worried about its use in things like autonomous weapons and surveillance. The pressure got so intense that the CEO, Sam Altman, had to come out and publicly admit they messed up the rollout. He basically said the whole thing looked opportunistic and sloppy and promised they would revise the agreement to add more safeguards.
All right, for our final piece today, let's pull back from the corporate drama and the ethical minefields and look at a totally different kind of war, the one for the actual future direction of AI itself.
Get this. Yann, LeCun, who used to be Meta's chief AI scientist, just raised over $1 billion for his new startup, AMI, and he's using that cash to chase a radically different approach to how we build AI.
So LeCun is basically making a massive bet against the current trend of just building bigger and bigger language models. He thinks the future is in what he calls world models, AI that doesn't just play with words, but actually builds an internal understanding of the real world, giving it a kind of common sense so it can truly reason and plan.
And look, this is not some academic debate in a lab. This kind of tech could be the engine for the next generation of physical AI. We're talking everything from the self-driving cars on our roads and robots in our homes to major breakthroughs in drug discovery and aerospace. So after this absolute whirlwind of a day, what's the big takeaway? It seems like there are three really distinct forces now at war, and each one is pulling the future of AI in a completely different direction.
And that leaves us with the critical question, doesn't it? Who's ultimately going to win this battle for tomorrow? Is it going to be the corporations fighting for market share, the ethicists fighting for control, or the visionaries fighting for a totally new way of doing things? If today showed us anything, it's that the answer is anything but certain.